What up, beautiful crypto people? It's me, Omar Bam, aka Crypto, here with you rather late actually. It's Thursday. I was supposed to be uploading a video yesterday, but I had this possible interview with Bitcoin Ben coming up. It turns out it got, delayed till next week. Last minute, he told me he couldn't do it. So I did want to at least touch base with you guys in my limited time and catch up with what's going on in the latest crypto news as usual. Presenting a weekly source for you guys with the information as to what is trending and what are the most important topics being talked about in crypto today. So let's start off with the prices. Today, Bitcoin has gone back into crab motion. People thought maybe it wasn't still crabbing along the same beach, left, right, up, down. But it turns out that the calls that maybe Bitcoin had for the last time breached $30,000 was a little bit early. Those calls were a little bit early. Bitcoin is still over 30,000. It's at $30,284 while I'm making this video, down 0.5%. But today it actually did drop below $30,000 at one point, quickly rebounding up. Some of this had to do with the jobs numbers. Apparently, it was a number that the markets didn't like. So you're seeing the stock market get hit. You're seeing cryptos get hit. It's nothing specific to crypto. You have Ethereum also at $1,884. Still hasn't broken $2,000. That is down 1% on the day. And you have the biggest gainer in the top cryptos being Solana, up 12%. So props to you if you're holding that. But interestingly to me, there are some coins that might be better bets here to be holding. Those, of course, being Bitcoin, Ethereum, as I've long preached as being the blue stocks of crypto, as you guys very much know. And a good sign of that is you see what the companies are doing, the institutions are doing, what kind of products are first being created by the major companies. And one example that we recently got was Celsius. So Celsius, the now defunct company that allowed people to earn on their crypto that was deposited, and they did some shady stuff and bad accounting and yada yada, fraud. Not proven yet in court, but pretty much fraud if you look at all the evidence. They went bankrupt, and they have been cleared by the courts that by July 1st they would be allowed to start liquidating assets, altcoins that are not Ethereum, into Bitcoin and Ethereum. So basically, altcoins they're allowed to liquidate, and they have about $170 million worth of those. They've begun liquidating. Looking at some wallets, I had retweeted that, and you can see that that is being consolidated into Bitcoin and Ethereum. So why not like Solana and Tron? I'm just joking. That was my joke. But yeah, I mean, for real though, like you look at the other coins, and there's probably a reason that they're not getting into those, and that the courts would be more likely to allow them to liquidate into and consolidate into these two particular cryptos to eventually give that out to people who had funds perhaps in the earn program, etc., and to continue to fund operations, etc. So they are not allowed to liquidate, from my understanding, any of these altcoins that you might have had deposited if they're still in the withhold or custody accounts. So if you are still do altcoins from them and you had them in those programs, you'll probably still be getting altcoins back. By the way, guys, happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day if you are American, or maybe you celebrate outside for some sort of reason. But anyway, it's interesting that crypto is very much like how the US was founded, leaving, you had these settlers leave Britain, found a new nation, and still be forced to pay taxes to the old world, and eventually decide that they didn't want to put up with that anymore, signing the Declaration of Independence. Britain was basically just taking rather than giving so much to America, and so we withdrew. And it kind of reminds me a lot of crypto as well, how rather than instead of having to go and settle in a new nation, in a nation, and kill a bunch of settlers or rather a bunch of natives who are already there, instead we created something brand new, a brand new world that somehow is still tied to the old world. But it was kind of Satoshi signing a kind of monetary declaration of independence, I think, when he created Bitcoin. So maybe someday we'll celebrate Satoshi's white paper as being like the Declaration of Independence for crypto. That would be really neat. I think it did spawn something brand new, and it's quite a beautiful thing. I think it'll become clearer and clearer how much we should appreciate that we have an alternative to the fiat system, which is quite a unified system and controlled by certain banks, central banks, the IMF. And that has been made clear just yesterday. You had Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, that holds about $10 trillion worth of assets under management, biggest investment firm, massive, right? So he came out on Fox News in a segment and called Bitcoin an international asset, meaning it is borderless, right? It's unique in the sense that it's not controlled by any one sort of nation or even one sort of entity. And he announced that Bitcoin was basically digital gold, meaning that there's going to be value in holding it, probably versus fiat. And he wants to allow for the opportunity, likely through an ETF, which has been talked about, the BlackRock, and they're filing through an ETF perhaps, whereby you could have more and more entities getting exposure to Bitcoin through said investment vehicle. This isn't the first time that Larry Fink has said good things. Back in 2017, he was not so positive about Bitcoin, but as early as 2021, he called Bitcoin and crypto really a brand new asset class. And I do have to actually correct myself here. He did say that crypto is an international asset. He didn't say that Bitcoin was an international asset, although he did say it was digital gold when he came out in this segment. But yeah, people were very excited about an ETF getting approved by BlackRock, 50% of their ETFs, track record. Actually, only one, out of like 500 ETFs was some ridiculous amount they have disproved. So very likely they would get a Bitcoin ETF for the first time ever approved that would track physical Bitcoin. If you were excited for that, we might have to still continue to wait. We got signs that it might not be approved. The SEC, according to someone at the SEC, might not be approving it. It looks like it might not be complete according to what the SEC wants to see. And so this is just signs that they're basically, I think, leaking out on purpose to SEC, that we shouldn't get excited about some sort of ETF getting passed very soon. But at the same time, it might be that they just want to keep the price suppressed for some sort of reason. It's kind of interesting that they're getting this ETF ready. BlackRock and others like Fidelity, Bitwise again refiling. It's like they don't give up, man. Right as we're about 9 months away from the halvening. I think that is interesting, and maybe they're doing this on exact purpose to create some sort of massive pump in price. And I think this is the time for the shrimps, right, to be accruing these things. There was a post on the cryptocurrency subreddit. I don't really have time to completely verify, but they showed data from Glassnode that pointed to how currently shrimps, those who have less than 1 Bitcoin, and crabs, those who have just over 1 Bitcoin, so I think 5 Bitcoin, are accumulating more Bitcoin right now with their $20 weekly Coinbase buys, or however they're buying their Bitcoin on some sort of timetable. They're basically buying more Bitcoin than is being mined, substantially more. I think it's like 50% more Bitcoin than is being mined. So you basically have like 1.25 Bitcoin that is being taken out of circulation immediately over what is being mined in every single block. So I didn't verify that, but that's pretty massive. And I think that's going to be great for the shrimps and the whales and those who could be taking this time to, as has been shown time and time again, position themselves for the next bull market, trademark. But it's happened over and over, so there's no reason to think that it won't be happening. And fiat debasement continues. So for myself, I continue weekly buys into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and that makes a lot of sense to me. Something that did not make so much sense to be getting into was some of these NFTs. So that's been a big trending topic over the week. NFTs that are proving to be more and more valueless. One of the most popular NFT collections, the Bored Ape Yacht Club collection, is down over 90% from its highs, where you could basically, at the lowest price, buy one of these Bored Ape NFTs for about $600,000 at the peak, and it's dropped off again over 90% from that amount. You're seeing the same with other collections that were prized, like Fidenzas, but it's not the case for CryptoPunks. So again, I just think CryptoPunks are one of the best collections to be holding, being really the first NFTs on Ethereum, and basically the first widely adopted NFTs. And they were quite unique in many different ways, as I've shown you guys before. So if you can afford one of those, probably one of the better ones to be holding. But for now, it's just people who are really upset. There's like this really ugly painting on the cryptocurrency subreddit, or maybe not painting, some sort of digital art, really bad looking, and somebody's like, I can't believe I paid 3 ETH for this. Yeah, bruh, I can't believe it either. But that was some of the hype that's going on. So people are still trying to figure out what is going to be the next hype. We've seen NFTs, we've seen ICOs, and it's a shame that due to, I think, a little bit of over-regulation, lack of clarity, we've basically stopped the opportunity for this open investment that initial coin offerings were supposed to create, whereby individuals could pool funds like ETH, mint some sort of token, or get access to some sort of token that provides utility, if not equity, right? But the regulators don't want to hear that one, so no one says that one, into a platform that could be driving more and more value and ultimately bring some sort of price appreciation or some sort of dividend, like you saw with Ethereum, to investors of this project. So that was huge in 2017, investing in projects, but it got a little bit overboard. Instead of, for example, you automatically getting tokens through some sort of smart contract, you had to just go through weird registration and pre-sales in order to get those tokens, if you even got any tokens, if they weren't rug pulls immediately. And it just became more and more difficult to get into ICOs, more and more lawsuits from the SEC and other entities globally against different initial coin offerings for not registering. And this was about open investment, really allowing the average person to get exposure to investment, early seeding investment in a way that has not been possible unless you're a venture capitalist deep in Silicon Valley. This was just not feasible for you. And there were some projects that returned, especially early on, some of the real hardcore cypherpunk idealist projects, especially like some of those decentralized autonomous organizations on Ethereum, did provide value and continue to exist, but many were just straight up trying to get rich quick, and that basically closed the market, which is a shame, because I think right now what you're seeing with artificial intelligence is a huge opportunity. Imagine some sort of crypto-centric, real positive, altruistic entity, altruistic in the, I guess that's debatable, what is altruistic these days, but something that wasn't a rug pull, that had a genuine intention and a really good team behind it, that was getting value in order to buy data centers and fund some sort of AI project or AI large language model to rival the more closed OpenAI, for example. So OpenAI is the company that creates ChatGPT. People are complaining constantly that ChatGPT seems to get dumber and dumber. You have OpenAI talking about how it's important to protect from unaligned values that an AI might have. Basically, it's resulted in them dumbing down the large language model in order to make it good for others. And you don't have open source initiatives that are really on the scale of training that can be going on with like what you're seeing with OpenAI, or you're seeing with Microsoft, I guess, being adopted ChatGPT. But other than that, what you're seeing with Google's Bard, for example, Facebook's Llama, to see something that could be funded by crypto, right? It just makes sense automatically. Like I was listening to the Bankless Podcast recently, where they had Raul Paul, and he talked about how it just makes sense that if these large language models have a certain number of tokens that need to be processed in order for the weight matrix to have more and more weight, in order to be smarter, to process more calculations, to basically give you a smarter, more intelligent result, these require tokens, right? And so they limit the number of tokens that people who pay $20 a month or whatever to ChatGPT can utilize. So what if instead it was some sort of microfinanced, instant streaming, crypto native payment featuring some sort of token? It just makes actual sense to me that this could exist. But because the ICO model has not proven to be good, it would have to be funded another way, instead by some Andreessen Horowitz or A16Z, right? Or Paradigm, or Sequoia Capital, who again, it would just not give as easy access to the average investor, especially now with the SEC hounding everybody. So people would probably not be able to buy a token until it's way overvalued, if such a token were to exist, and they would not get early seed investing. So an absolute crime, I think, what's going on here in the name of protection. And I think there could be actual good in seeing something being open sourced. Yeah, there's bad people who could get their hands on these things, but there's a lot of better people. I still firmly believe that in the world than bad people. Maybe money changes this a little bit, but I still think that if you put AI in the hands of as many people as possible, and well, basically the good will outnumber the bad, and therefore you'll have more good AI than bad AI, defeating the bad AI that could potentially cause harms. But anyway, just some thoughts out there. Hope you guys are having a fantastic week. Again, hope you had a great 4th of July, and I will catch you guys next week. Please let me know in your comments down below what you think about it in relation to any of it, what I've talked about, and I look forward to reading your comments. Remember to subscribe, hit like, and share the video. Take care, much love, and stay cryptic. Peace.